Hey guys, we're going to talk about drills and exercises. Uh, just terms that I use, but they are different. And what I've been messing around with here for the last, minute is this set up here. These balls don't really matter. They're about like a halfway between the pocket and the diamond. Maybe a ball off the rope. Doesn't really matter as long as they're not froze. And I'm just going to try to shoot them. But what I'm not going to try to do is shoot all four of them without missing. I'm talking about cross-side banks because that's not my goal. And to me, that's the biggest difference between a drill and an exercise. My goal in doing this is I know these are shots that I need to practice. I did a video about this time last year about easy shots, practicing easy shots, shots that I don't feel like I should ever miss, yet I do. And the whole gist of that video was I'm better off taking a shot from a 90% make to a 95% make than I am taking a much tougher shot from a 5% make to a 10% make. I think that probably makes sense. The reason that I'm calling this an exercise and not a drill is because I want to practice banking this 8 cross side and coming around here with some semblance of the proper speed to bank something else. My goal is not to run them all in order or whatever, to make them all. That would be a drill. And one of the main reasons I like it doing it this way, well, there's a lot of reasons. One is, this is my goal, is to practice shots like that cross side with an approximation of the proper speed. Okay, accomplish that goal, yay, good for me. If my goal had been to shoot all 4, I'm probably going to screw it up at some point, and then it becomes a failure. So now I just achieved a goal. I've talked before about having little goals that are achievable with a little bit of effort and can, boost the ego, whatever. It's a psychological thing. So now I've had 2 successes. If I miss, sure, that's a failure, but I still got those 2 successes. So I come out ahead. If I miss right now, all right, didn't do that on purpose. Now, this is another difference between an exercise and a drill. If I was playing a drill, I had to put all the balls back up and do it all again. No, I don't need to do that now. What I need to do is try to remember about approximately where these balls were and shoot it again. Because clearly, I need to work on shooting. I'm banking that 15 at approximately this angle. I didn't mark where the balls were. So this is a shot I need to practice, and that's why I'm shooting this, is to practice stuff. I hit this point. Didn't really want to do that. I hit the point. Also hit it too hard. I didn't get the angle where I can bring the 13 back to me. I'm not even sure I can bank the 13 at that angle. So set it up again. This is why we practice. Because we need practice, clearly. I need to practice this simple shot I should never miss. And so that's what I'm doing. Not practicing making all 4 of them. I dumbed down my goal. My goal is not to make all 4. My goal is to just make this damn 15 with some semblance of the proper speed. There's clearly something wrong with the 15, but hey, that's something that could come up in a tournament. I could come up with an egg-shaped ball in a tournament. I didn't know how to make those, right? Damn time seals. I think I hit that too hard as well. Maybe not. Maybe not. I have to stiffen this one a little bit. So good for me. There's some practice. where eventually I made all 4 of the balls. If my goal had been to make all 4 without missing, I'm not at that level. And that wasn't what my goal was. One of the things I see about shooting drills is you're not, I don't know, and this might just be me, is if I shoot a drill where I need to make X number of balls, do whatever the whole thing is I'm trying to do, and my goal is to complete that without screwing up, usually I'm not working on the shot. Usually at that point I'm working on, shooting under pressure. Let me see if I can get these again here. No, clearly not. That sucks. Again, shot I should never miss. Guess what I just did? Missed and missed. If I wanted to set up all the balls, and let's say shoot them all down in a corner, not all in one shot, on different shots, I can either be practicing making straight in shots. I'm giving myself ball in hand on every shot, so I can either be practicing making straight in shots, or I can be practicing shooting under pressure, shooting easy shots under pressure. Because I'll tell you what, I mean, me certainly, and I would imagine most people, especially if you line up 15 balls, if you get to 10, 11, 12 balls, and you've made them all, you're going to start feeling some pressure. And if pressure is what you're working on, being able to shoot under pressure, then that's great. God, I suck. One of the things I don't hardly ever do is try to practice a shot and practice shooting that shot under pressure. It seems like I have 2 goals all of a sudden, and it's almost like they're diluting each other. You think they would add up and be even more powerful goals, but for me it seems like it just doesn't seem like that's the case. But if I screw up, I still screwed up, and my subconscious and my ego and everything just took a hit because I screwed up. In this case, I just missed that 13, but I can turn right around and shoot it again. And not that I completely erased my earlier miss, but it eased that ego blow just a little bit. Plus, I got to practice shooting a straight-in shot, which is what I'm practicing right now. Not practicing the pressure part of it. Practicing my bank on that 5. Looked like anyway. Banked that 5 right in the hole, didn't I? So, to me, I don't know, to me it's important. I did a whole video about drills sometime in the last few months, like some easy drills, easy and useful drills that started out like with this. I got this from Burt Kinnister, and started out with this, and then I talked about some expansions and stuff. But what I never really talked about is, if I have a setup like this, what's my goal? Is my goal to make all 5? Maybe. But maybe my goal is to shoot the 2 and get a decent angle on the 3 so I can get on the 6. And maybe that's all I have to worry about at this point. It depends on what I'm working on. If my goal is to make all 5, I put 5 more balls here. My goal is to make all 10. 5 more up here. My goal is to make all 15. It becomes different. But for me, what I'm trying to work on right now, I've got Derby City coming up, so I'm back to practicing what to me are shots I should never screw up, as long as I pay attention and don't suck too bad. So that's what I do. I don't have the end goal of making all 5 of these in my head. I just have do that and get a good angle. I'm going to have the same thing again. Make the 3 and get a good angle on the 6 so I can come over for the 10. Every one of these little things that I do is a little victory. Whereas if my goal had been to make all 5, I don't get that victory until they're all done. If I make this 10 and then miss a 12, and my goal is to make all 5, then I'm a failure. I don't like that in most cases. I don't like practicing shooting under pressure when I'm also trying to do something. And that's a pretty simple example, but I've talked about some tougher examples before. Because, like I said, those goals kind of dilute each other. If I want to shoot under pressure, it'll be something like I was just showing. All the balls lined up and just shoot them down there, just a long shot. I mess with this one a lot. I've not talked about this before. I would not call this a 100% make for me. Absolutely not. This is probably about 3/4, 75% make for me. But this is absolutely something I need to practice either way. Even if this was a 100, I still need to practice it, to keep that 100%. Just in case anybody's wondering, for me, to make this a 100% shot, we're talking about maybe about right here. Yeah, that's probably, this should be in the category of never miss. And I want to practice something else. I want to practice drawing back into the corner. Then I'm practicing drawing back into the corner. There's not that pressure of you got to accomplish the whole thing. This is a bad example for that. That doesn't make any sense what I just said there, but that's okay. So, okay, I suck. I didn't draw back in the corner. If I had been practicing that. I had an example that I thought about earlier. It was something kind of similar. It was something like, how would I do it? It was something like, fairly tough shot. Yeah, draw back into this corner. Make the 14 straight in, draw straight back in. It's doable. By me, it's not doable anywhere near 100% of the time. By some people, it probably is. But for me, at my level, I need to pick one. I can't say, okay, my goal is to make it and scratch in the corner, because then it's going to be disappointing, and that's your disappointment after disappointment. I don't like that. I need my goal to be make 14 or draw back here into this corner. If I do both, awesome. If I don't do both, I'm not supposed to anyway. I'm not supposed to do both anyway at my level. I could miss them both by trying to do them both. Now, everybody's not as bad as examples. That was a bad one. The main thing I wanted to say here was just on, for me, a drill is, several balls or several goals, and you need to do a bunch of things, and then you completed that drill if you don't screw up. And that can be great if you complete that drill. Then you can have a big ego boost or whatever, confidence boost. And for me, an exercise is practicing something that you need to get practice on, and every time you get it right, you're helping yourself because you're practicing it, and you also get that little confidence boost. This is a shot that I would shoot would have to shoot in competition. This would come up. Having 15 balls lined up here, and I get to take ball in hand in every shot, probably not going to come up in competition. It would be very weird if something like that did. I think I talked about that in my other drill video. Some of them were just a little bit unrealistic. Things like I was talking about here. Missing ball. This kind of thing, maneuvering around and stuff like that. This could come up. I just don't think, in a lot of cases, having the goal of making all 5 is proper. I think if I set my goal to make all 5 of these, that's kind of, I don't know, making a little game of it or something, a personal challenge, and that's not necessarily bad. Just not what I'm trying to do. But since I know I need to work on getting my proper angles for balls, then just do that. Don't set a goal to make them all, and then if you don't make them all, you suck. You got to put them all back. If I screw up a shot here, I can just shoot it again. I probably came too far on the 6. If I miss the 6, then it will be because I came too far. I got too much angle on it. Right? So that doesn't mean that I suck. That means I go back and I shoot this one again. And this time I try not to get as horrible of an angle on a 6. I don't really remember where it was. Oops. Alright, so that's better, right? Now, not that I have that mastered now, but I'll tell you what, I'm better now at getting on the 6 than I was 30 seconds ago. It may not be a permanent fix, but I had a mistake and I fixed it right away. I did the correct thing right away. Instead of letting it linger while I set all the balls up and did it all again, and still maybe had a failure if I didn't get all 5. I really do feel like I'm yammering, but I also feel like this is important. So it's important to me to know what it is I'm trying to accomplish. Am I trying to accomplish making all 5, or am I trying to accomplish making one of them and getting the proper angle? See, I came pretty darn close to 3 off 11. That was bad. But yet another mistake that I just made. I'm going to try to punch the 11 and punch off the rail and back over. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can do it. We're going to find out. I have to cheat the pocket. No, I can't. Actually, it wasn't as tough as I thought it was going to be. I figured that made any sense. A lot of things make sense in my head, but then when I start trying to yammer at the camera about them, they don't make any sense in my head anymore. My goal is not to make all 5 of these in that pocket. My goal is to make the 1 and get shape on the 6. At my level, that is my goal. Make the 1 and get shape on the 6. Because that's what I need to practice, is things like that. I don't need to practice shooting all 5 in their order, or all the way down there. I make the 6 and get on the 15. Practice that. A little bit of a different angle. Alright, good. Screwed it up. Practice it. I don't have to kill myself because I failed this easy drill. I'm shooting this because I need to practice that stuff. You need to practice making the 6, but I needed to practice making the 6 and getting shape. Clearly, if I didn't need to practice it, I wouldn't have screwed it up. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, to me it makes sense. Almost perfectly 100% straight in again. Actually, no, this is a cut to the right. So make 15, get on 11. Miscue. Okay? Clearly have to practice that shot. This isn't, I don't know, it's not as complicated as sometimes people make it. It's not as tough. My attitude is, I need to practice a shot instead of my attitude being, I need to make them all. Okay, yeah, I need to practice a shot. What do you do? If I didn't have to practice shots, how many times have I said I wouldn't be down here in my basement if I didn't need to practice? Come over. Way too much angle. Not sure there's a whole lot I could have done about that. gonna quit. I don't know if I made my point or not. All I'm really trying to get at is, for me, an exercise is practicing something that needs to be practiced. Whereas a drill, like I said, it's more like a drill can be more of a personal challenge or something. And if that's what you're working on, if you're trying to challenge yourself, if you're going to work on playing under pressure. A lot of times the pressure for me is once I make 8 or 9 balls in a row, those last few, that's when the pressure comes in. You could have a shot, well hell, you could have a shot that's tough, and you only have to do it once, but it's tough enough. Like when I was talking about shooting this ball in and drawing back into the corner, that's pretty tough. If that's what you're working on, yeah, do it, but know what you're working on. I don't know if I can word it any better than that. Know what you're working on and work on that. And any of the little extra, bonus goals or subsidiary goals or whatever that might be out there, don't let them mess with your head, because even the shots that I missed, in theory, my inner pool player learned what not to do. Sometimes he forgets what not to do, I miss again, and he forgets again, and I miss again. But in theory, he's eventually going to get it through his big fat head. And meanwhile, I'm practicing, trying to make the shot, practicing. Now, I am definitely yammering now, and I'm going to stop. Click.